On this episode of the Bronze Metalist podcast, we talk about Key to a Vanishing Future by Falls of Rauros. Welcome to another episode of the Bronze Metalist podcast. I'm Kale.
I'm OJ.
We're two professional broadcasters. We like metal and we like to talk about it. And today we're talking about Falls of Rauros again. It's been a while.
A while.
It's been a while.
Yeah, they do that song.
Yeah, they do a cover of, what is that, Stained? What band is that? Is that Stained or is that Puddle of Mud? Or
no.
It's some fucking...
It's not Three Doors Down, is it? No.
I don't know. I feel like I'm right with Stained. I feel like I've gotten right with Stained, you know?
We were in a bad way before, but now.
We really got right, you know? We sat down, we really hashed it out.
All those things kind of blur together from 20 years ago or whatever.
Let's see, it is Stained.
It is Stained, all right.
I knew I was
kind of forgot about Stained.
I remember this because... the reason why I know it's Stained is because do you remember the little hole in the wall liquor store where next to where Home Goods is now?
Sure, yeah. Marketplace Foods.
Yes, I went in there and they had on the TV behind the register just the Spotify app open.
Sure.
And it was playing It's Been a While by Stained. And it had the song title, the album art, and then the artist. And I was like, oh yeah, this is a Stained song.
Sure. And I remember having to look it up when I saw it going, did they forget the E? I don't know.
Was there a typo?
Was there typos? And they just let it go?
Maybe. Who knows? But who
knows?
Anyway, yeah, it's
Falls of Rauros.
It's been a while since we've talked about this band. It was I believe a black metal January at some point in the past. Sure. Although it's kind of difficult to really call Falls of Rauros a black metal band.
Kind of post metal.
Kind of post metal. Kind of they don't really fit cleanly. You could call them melodic black metal, I suppose. That's a title that might befit them.
Yeah, there's some styles in here that they mesh together. That's like, I didn't know that would work. And it does.
They're among a wave of American, I guess, in quotes, black metal bands that sort of have this kind of melodic style to them that is somewhat hard to describe. Bands like Alagok or is it Agalok? I can't remember. Or like Wolves in the Throne Room and stuff like that. It's and Panopticon as well, who they
Austin.
They're close friends. Austin has drummed for them on certain tours. And I think the members of their band have performed live with Austin for Panopticon at different points. So they're two very closely related projects. But it's sort of among a wave of hard to describe black metal adjacent music that also happens to be very pretty.
It is very pretty
and beautiful. And it's a lot of what I like about it. I mean, I said this when we first talked about their album previous to this, which was like, this is one of the most me bands.
Right.
For like, this is an extremely me band.
It's very Kale.
It's very me. So
kind of organic Kale.
Sure.
Yeah.
I'm not organic.
No. Well,
I've got too many chemicals in me. I'm not a free range human. At this point,
well, kale is entirely made of chemicals.
Everything is made of
exactly.
There is a degree where like that retort is like, yes, we know that's not what they mean. Like,
yeah, but I feel like most of the time when somebody says there's no chemicals in this, they don't actually know what they mean.
I suppose
they haven't wrapped their brain around what that would even mean.
I guess. But it can't be every single one of them. I think generally there's an acceptance. When they say chemicals, they mean preservatives and
added
shit
chemicals.
Like that. Yeah, they mean shit that was added in there to achieve a certain desirable effect for the marketplace and keeping food
or the cash wise
fresh. Yes, whatever your grocery store of choice is, for sure. But not that. Yeah, I don't agree with anybody who's like, it doesn't have the chemicals in it. No, I don't. Whatever their agenda they're trying to push, I don't agree with that. But I will at least give them that they probably understand that literally everything
is made of chemicals.
Yeah, of some kind.
All matter.
A chemical is just molecules. I think we're wrong. I think we're being far too broad with that. Probably but we're not scientists, so who gives a shit?
Yeah.
We're hardly adults.
I love that on the internet when somebody says, "Won't you debate me about science?" I'm like, neither of us is qualified for that shit.
I'm not. Anybody who says I want you to debate me is not worth engaging with.
Like, change my mind. No,
nothing. I'm probably not going to. Nothing. If you are hoping to have an argument. You have already admitted that you do not want your mind to be changed, generally speaking. If you go into something with the goal, at least in my experience, if someone professes a goal that they want to have a debate with someone, it's because they want to sound smart and or be right.
Right.
And that's not, it's usually not worth engaging with those people,
right?
No matter what side they might potentially be on. There are assholes there are people who have views I agree with wholeheartedly,
but they're assholes.
Yeah. They're still assholes.
Yep, I hear you.
And I wouldn't want to be friends with them.
Exactly. I mean, you might invite them over for a podcast or D&D. But
it's like, there are definitely people like that. I don't know. I'm weird. I've been grumpy today. I don't know why. I've been weirdly like low energy, but also like mildly irritated by everything for no reason whatsoever.
Maybe you're having some sort of a chemical change. Maybe you're going through the change.
I'm fine. It's happening.
It's finally happening.
Men my age, they go through the change.
Exactly.
I don't know. I think I just haven't been sleeping enough.
I know I haven't.
I think, I don't know. I just need to stop looking at at my laptop before 11 o'clock.
Well, sure.
I'll be on YouTube or whatever until like 11:30 with the goal of falling asleep by midnight. And it's like, that's not how to do it, pal. You know this. Right. I was really good for a long time. I was really good about that of like, all right, screen time is over at 10:30.
Exactly.
Or at the very least, if not, any screen at all, if I'm watching something past 10:30, it's got to be on the television many feet away from me.
Right.
And not something close to my face.
Yeah, it's got to be YouPorn on the television, not on your laptop or your phone or whatever. The X videos has to be in the large screen in your living room. That's where the YouPorn has to be.
Through the speakers.
Exactly. Through the speakers. I told you about that. Yeah, I did tell you about that. The woman who posted the thing where she was talking about how she was trying to watch pornography on her phone and she couldn't get the volume to go up and she couldn't figure out why. And then she remembered, oh yeah, I was listening to music on Bluetooth speakers on the back porch earlier. So her neighbors were wondering what the hell was happening in her backyard.
I mean, it's a problem that previous generations haven't had to deal with.
Right.
When you were a kid growing up in the 70s and you found a Playboy in the woods, you didn't have to worry about the sounds of that.
Exactly.
Being played
No.
in the living room or something.
You just had to worry about getting caught. Is
Yeah.
the only problem. Like my friends.
That's still a concern.
Sure.
But now there's so many more concerns.
And the device is more portable and like, you can just shut it off and suddenly it's just your, laptop
it's just
or your tablet.
a blank black rectangle.
Whereas my buddy Rob up there in Canada, when he was 9 years old with his buddy at the grocery store, they weren't looking at the porn rack, but they were looking to see who was looking at them. They reached behind them and grabbed a couple of magazines and ran outside and perused through their copy of Grandma Handjobs.
The specificity of old porn really, like, I think there's a part of me that this is a weird energy to start off the podcast with, but like there's a part of me that's like that the extreme specificity must be a new thing. No, not really.
No, it's been very specific for a long time.
Yeah, and I guess I feel like in the 70s is probably 60s, 70s, and 80s. You could make a magazine about literally anything, and somehow it would be profitable.
It would totally be profitable, and even if you didn't have a wide distribution. I mean, and a lot of these didn't. They would just print like a couple of hundred of this magazine, and you could probably find your way to it.
And now the most popular newspapers in the world struggle to be profitable at all with a fucking newspaper.
Right.
Like much less extremely niche porn. The fucking New York Times can hardly turn a profit.
Maybe they need to consolidate more. Like your porn, you go to one place and, you can look at, MILFs and BBWs and
sure, everything's there.
It's all right there.
Everything under the sun.
Maybe the New York Times, in their struggle, need to print all the news.
And they'll call it News Hub.
Why not?
I still don't know why Pornhub doesn't branch out into safe for work sites, because they clearly have very robust infrastructure for streaming video.
Right.
Why not? Like, if there is a singular company that could make a streaming video website at all capable of rivaling YouTube, it's Pornhub.
Sure.
They're the only ones at all capable of that, but they're not, they haven't tried. They don't care. And you know what? I get it. But like I have to wonder like how profitable that company is.
There's a lot of ads on there, I hear.
Yeah, you hear.
I hear.
I've heard about that.
I've been told
friends.
somebody, I saw it on, the TV show Friends. And
famously, that time Chandler, that time Monica. What's the naming convention for Friends? Isn't it the one where the one where Monica caught Chandler on Pornhub?
Right. Yeah.
That episode, that famous episode of Friends.
Famous episode of Friends.
I don't think those two things existed at the same time.
I'm sure they did not. Yeah.
And if they did, it was an extremely narrow window, because Friends wrapped in 2004?
So there was no Pornhub in 2004. There was no YouTube in 2004.
That is true.
2006, I think that debuted.
5.
2005, was it?
Yeah. I don't know how much of 5.
Right.
I think it was there. 6 is when anybody learned it existed, basically.
Right.
By the end of 2006, most people were like, YouTube, that's a place where you can post little videos on the internet, isn't it? A vague idea of what it was.
Sure.
I remember in those early days looking for YouTube and not knowing that it was spelled with you, the word. So I put UTUBE, and it was a plumbing website.
Yeah, U-joints and
or it was
tubes.
I mean, it was YouTube. Was this particular site, and it was just you need some PVC pipes. We're you guys.
Can you imagine how awesome it would be to have a very common misspelling of YouTube as your domain name?
Yeah.
That would be great.
I don't know how, I mean, it would be interesting. It probably not all that profitable because people would get on that page and go like, oh, this isn't the one.
Right. So you'd have to
leave immediately.
You'd have to have ads on the splash. You'd have to be
the whole front page would have to be ads,
right.
Basically.
Anytime somebody lands on this page, I get a nickel, and if that happens, 100 times an hour, hell yeah.
That's a lot of nickels.
Yeah.
That's $10. Right? 100 nickels would be $10.
100 nickels would be $10?
No, 100 nickels would be $5.
Yes. 100 nickels would be $5. So $5 an hour, but for 24 hours a day, it's not too bad.
That's not bad at all.
Yeah.
I don't know why I turned into Lenny from The Simpsons. Hey, what's up, Homer? How you doing? I don't know what that is. I don't know what or why.
Maybe you just wanted to have a beer.
All right, calm down. My brain just doesn't work.
I hear you. Dude, we're on a page today. I couldn't do things.
It's brain's not working.
I could not brain.
I'm happy that neither of us will have to work on Sunday. Is the point I wanted to bring up.
Yes.
There was a work function that we theoretically would have had to do on Sunday afternoon.
Right.
Not only is it Mother's Day, it's also a Sunday, just full stop. It's a Sunday.
Right.
We pretty much never have anything work related to do on Sundays.
Right.
And it was also in the middle of the afternoon at a time when we also have nationally syndicated shows running on our radio station.
So good luck timing that shit out.
Yeah, it would have been a nightmare, but it is no longer happening.
And it would have interrupted Dungeons and Dragons.
That as well. So I'm happy that we no longer have to deal with that bullshit. So yeah, that was good because it's also been until this most recent Sunday, it had been 2 weeks. It felt like an eternity since the last time we had played because we had a couple of snowstorms.
Yes, bad
there
snowstorms.
in that space.
And now it's gone.
Yeah, now the snow's gone.
We had like 18 feet. No, 33 feet of snow. I don't remember what it was.
33 feet.
33 feet of snow. Yes.
We
and 33 inches.
North
of
Dakota
snow.
Turned into Hoth for a bit. I mean, that's absolutely what it looked like.
Hey, what's the
for a couple of days?
What's the temperature on the inside of a tauntaun?
It's pretty Hoth in there.
It's lukewarm.
Oh, okay. See, I made a joke.
It's May the 4th. Today, so
yeah, it is the Star Wars Day.
Yeah, it is. Also, it's National Orange Juice Day.
It's national. Do you mean it's National OJ Day?
It is National OJ Day, and I had to mention to all my loyal listeners that I have, of course, that the fact that the average American drinks about 2.5 gallons of OJ every year.
It's bad. It's bad. I feel like
why is that bad? I don't understand.
The joke you're making.
I'm not making a joke, and it's true.
Yeah. 2.5
gallons of OJ.
So
do you like lots of pulp in yours? You like it thick and chunky?
When it Jesus Christ. And I said that how I shouldn't have left it off there. You absolute bastard. I hate you. I can't even look at you. I can't even look at you. You piece of shit. I hate you. God damn it.
I'm getting a cramp.
You're a monster. This is a family program where we talk about porn for 10 minutes. You utter cock.
Utter cock?
Piece of shit. I can't even insult you.
Oh, okay.
That's how despicable you are. You can't even be insulted. In any case, when it comes to the amount of orange juice that I consume in a given year, I feel like it's got to be more than 2 gallons.
Really, you think so?
Because a gallon of orange juice, I'll go through a gallon of orange juice by myself over the course of a week. If I got orange juice in the fridge, if I got a gallon of orange juice in the fridge, yeah, I can easily go through that pretty quick.
You buy it by the gallon?
Is it usually in half gallons?
Usually it's a half gallon. You should get it. Yeah.
I feel like it's bigger than that.
I mean, the Tropicana, the paper thing?
The plastic jug with the handle.
Where do you get a plastic? I guess they sell orange juice like that, don't they?
Yeah, that's what I get.
Okay, yeah, that's a gallon.
Yeah, so I'll go through that pretty quick. I like orange juice.
I like orange juice too. My problem is, and here's a weird thing for me. First of all, I don't have a dental plan anymore, so I kind of steer clear of acidic and sugary, and that's both.
Yes, that's true.
So yeah, because
I like orange juice.
No longer married.
I like orange juice. It's good. Tastes good. I don't consume a lot of sweets.
Right.
In my life,
Me
generally
either.
speaking. I try to. Not that I don't really try to avoid sugar. But it's I don't consume.
It's just not a thing that occurs to you to do.
I don't snack either.
I snack a lot, but my snacks consist of like chips or a bowl of chili or a ham.
A whole ham.
I'm just gonna snack on this entire ham.
All right.
I'll take all the ham.
Give me all the ham.
That's Patton Oswalt, is it? Yeah.
I'm thinking of what's the cat?
Garfield?
Not Garfield. The other one.
Heathcliff?
There's a thing in a lot of like single panel Heathcliff comics where the punchline is just ham. The punchline is just the word ham. I also wasn't really aware of this until recently. A YouTube channel I like called Drawfee did a challenge where it was they would say the text of a Heathcliff single panel and then have to draw it. I wasn't really aware how existentially bizarre a lot of Heathcliff like single panel comics are.
Yeah, I had a bunch of books when I was a kid. You used to, I don't know if they still do. They probably do. Get those paper book order things, and you look through it and you check off shit, and then your mom has to write a check.
They
so
probably
you get
exist still.
and you get stickers and pencils and other shit.
Yeah, but they were definitely still around when I was a kid.
Yeah, I used to get both the cat comics. You get
both of them.
The latest collection of Garfield and the latest collection of Heathcliff. And looking back on it, neither of that shit was funny.
Yeah.
I was 10, so.
I mean, I find some of the Heathcliff ones funny simply because they are so bizarre. Like, it's like Far Side type shit where it's like, what? Why is he wearing a helmet that says ham? What does that have to do with anything? Like, maybe it's just, I feel like, because I'm kind of between generations, between millennial and Gen Z. It really depends on who you ask.
Right.
But like that's a lot of, younger millennials / Gen Z. The humor is so bizarre and absurd.
Sure.
That I feel like it's kind of more that stuff is more in my wheelhouse of just like, this makes no sense, but it's funny to me. It's unexpected.
I just feel like back in those days when I was a kid and those things were being made.
Back in my day, Heathcliff is still being made.
Sure, but I feel like it was not meant to be ironic, weird humor. I feel like it was, hey, here's this thing that's funny. I'm going to draw it. I mean, it wasn't. Yeah. It wasn't meant to be esoteric.
I suppose. I spelled Songle. Heathcliff single panel. I just want to look at some of them. I just want to see them. Like, this is not audio entertainment. I need to stop what I'm doing. Yeah. This is an audio medium.
Hey, let's look at old cartoons on the honor phones.
It wasn't even let's us.
Yeah.
Let me look at these by myself for a few minutes. And
just some silence. Just leave it in.
Just me go, that one's funny. What is it? No, it's fine. Or I'd show it to you and then what the fuck was I trying to do? What was I trying to I don't even know.
It's like
what are any of us trying to do? Why are we here?
Like we had a local sportscaster on the radio. I won't say his name or anything, but famously, and he did this more than once. it was the end of a game. He was calling a basketball game, and at the end of the game, he says, "They got the ball. They're going to the other court. Oh, the clock is counting down. 8, 7, 6." Tell us what the fuck is happening.
Yes.
Why are you telling us how to count backwards?
Why are you counting the clock?
Call the game. What's happening?
Describe the sports.
4, 3, 2. It's over.
Thank you.
Thank you.
But what happened in the game, please?
That'd be great.
I mean, I can understand being nervous and excited and wanting to. The crowd was probably counting down too, and maybe just got swept up in all the excitement and the emotion of a sports game.
Sure.
Oh, good old sports.
Yeah.
You remember sports?
Oh man, my favorite sporting squadron was the Sportsters. They were very, very good at sportsing.
I love me some sports ball.
Oh, sports ball, man! The action.
I love
the drama.
I love all the sports balls. I love the one where it's got a funny shape.
Sure.
And the men hit each other.
Right.
And then I love the one where it's got a round shape, and the men aren't allowed to hit each other. And when they do, they get punished for it.
Right.
And I like the one where it's got a round shape, and when the men hit each other on accident, they pretend that they have died. And I also like the one where it's a very strange looking ball that is small and hard and flat on two sides.
Right.
And the men aren't supposed to hit each other, but they really do.
Yeah, they do.
They really, really do.
Like a lot. And that's the only reason you really go.
And it's really fun to see that.
Right.
How many sports could we describe in these terms? What else is there? What other sports are there? We've got basketball, soccer. I like the one where the men do not hit each other most of the time, but they do hit the ball, which is round but small. They hit the ball with a big cylindrical hammer.
Sure. And then they're like these U-shaped things stuck in the ground.
Yeah.
Uh-huh. Talking about croquet, right?
No, the cylindrical hammer. I was talking about baseball. I was trying to describe a baseball bat in weird terms, and it didn't really come across very well.
I like the one where the ball is really tiny and it's got dents all over it.
Yeah.
And old men will actually play the sport while drinking alcohol and smoking tobacco.
Yes. Man, there's got to be a fucking golf course in California or somewhere where weed is legal. There has got to be a golf course with a weed dispensary on it, right?
I'm positive.
Can you imagine? That would be great. That's better than drinking alcohol because it doesn't dehydrate you while you're out in the sun.
Right.
You can just get high, go golfing, stay hydrated.
Right.
That would be fantastic. Golfing high would be amazing, I bet.
Yeah, I bet it is. My friends told me about that too.
Your friend, was it the same friends that told you about all the ads on Pornhub?
Kinda.
No, it's kind of the same friends.
Actually, the last time that I know that a friend of mine got high on a golf course, it was before there was porn on the internet that I know of. It was a long time ago.
Long time, because that happened pretty much immediately.
Yeah, right. Like in the 90s.
Anytime a human being invents a medium that is visual in some way, shape, or form,
it becomes pornography very quickly.
It will be used for porn as soon as possible. The second step, step one is we've made this new thing that can display visual media. The second step is someone uses it to make porn.
I've invented a box that when you put a sheet coated with silver dioxide at the back of it and pull a shutter, it will put the image of what comes through the lens.
And porn.
And porn.
I think the first porn, I think from what I remember there, and of course it was a French guy.
Oh, of course.
There was like very early on after the first like film camera was invented, some French dude made a porno.
Oh, of course.
Like very, very soon after the film camera was invented.
It was like the second thing.
It may well have been.
Yeah.
It's a irrefutable fact of human experience, and there doesn't even need to be visual writing. I wonder how long it was after someone invented fucking cuneiform. Did someone ever use cuneiform to write erotica?
Oh, of course they did.
It had to have been. I
feel like
the only problem I have with that is that a lot of early writing systems were not very descriptive because they were essentially developed to facilitate business and trade.
Right.
They were developed as a record keeping.
Because that comes first.
Expressive language came later.
You want to make money. You want to be able to use your tools to make money. And then once you start making money with those tools, you want to start
then
fucking
comes
them.
Porn.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I have to wonder what the first piece of erotic literature was.
Maybe it was in hieroglyphs.
I mean, a lot of ancient myths of any kind. I mean, hieroglyphs don't necessarily describe mythology, but like most mythology has got borderline erotic material in it.
Sure.
At the very least, sexual intercourse is described.
Right.
Like half of all Norse myths involve some sort of weird hanky-panky that happened.
Yeah.
90% of all Greek myths involve it. That's just how it goes. 90% of Greek myth is Zeus going, I'm going to turn into an animal and fuck that.
Yeah, I know.
For some reason.
Yeah, in Norse mythology, if Odin came into the room in any form, there's going to be either murder or rape. It's going to be one of those two things. Yeah.
Well, rape wasn't quite in Odin's bag nearly as much as Zeus's was.
I suppose.
From what I recall, most of Odin, most sex in Norse mythology was relatively consensual.
Sure.
A lot of anything that's in a gray area usually involves some manner of deception that happened, which is bad enough. But a lot of it is like, oh, that was actually Thor dressed as a woman. It's stuff like that.
I mean, who hasn't used deception to get laid? I mean,
sure. But that's at least in my, I'm sure there's definitely some cases in Norse mythology that I'm not aware of or haven't heard about.
It's said in the last, I'd say 4 years, my brain has a crossed wire about Greek and Norse mythology
because of God of War.
Yeah.
Where the Norse gods in God of War are much more awful than they have ever really been described in actual myth.
Right.
Because Kratos needs a reason to kill them, essentially.
Well, he doesn't. I guess he really only kills one.
He's gonna do the rest of them. Sure, he's gonna do at least most of the rest of them.
So I mean, yeah, it took him to God of War 3 to 86
the entirety of the Greek pantheon.
Right.
But he's at least gonna kill Thor in the next one.
Sure.
I think the only Norse gods that are not going to be killed by the end of whenever I think Ragnarok is going to be the last Norse game.
Probably.
By the end of that, I imagine the only Norse gods left standing will probably be Tyr, probably Freya.
I thought Tyr was gone at this point.
Did you not watch the trailer?
No, I haven't seen the trailer.
Oh, okay. Well,
it's the return of Tyr. That's cool.
Yeah, I feel like it was a massive spoiler to put in the fucking trailer for the game, unless it happens really early on or something.
Right.
But throughout the first Norse game, they're like, oh, Tyr's dead. Odin had him killed.
Right.
He's been dead for a long time. And then the end of the first trailer for Ragnarok, I
haven't seen it.
Discover Tyr, and he's alive and being held prisoner.
Oh, wow.
And they free him or some shit. It felt like a really big hammer to drop. No pun intended. Greek. Now you're crossing my wires too. Dude. How dare you?
Is Mimir in there as well? Is he still along?
Probably. I can't. I think he's. I'm pretty sure he was in the trailer. The trailer came out a while ago.
Be quiet, head.
Quiet head. But yeah, I think it would be cool if the dwarves made him like a magic robot body. That'd be cool. But then you also wouldn't have a reason to carry him with you everywhere.
Sure. And at the last game, they were doing an uncomfortable amount of measurements, you said.
Yeah. So I felt like maybe the dwarves were up to something there. But
right.
Whenever that comes out, I wonder if, since they released God of War on PC, I wonder if Ragnarok is going to be on PC on launch or not. I do not know. I don't know. Crazy, dude. So what do you want to talk about Falls of Rauros?
All right.
Yeah. So Falls of Rauros is an American band, a metal band.
They're coming to your town.
They're coming.
They're going to party down.
American band. But yeah, a post metal band. Sure, we'll call them that.
Okay.
From Maine, and they
the only state I haven't visited.
I have also not been to Maine, but I have not been to most states.
Right.
But yeah, they've been doing their thing for a lot longer than I was aware of, actually. I think their discography that I have access to, that goes back a ways. Their discography on Spotify goes back to 2008.
Oh, wow.
I think they've been around before that, but I don't know if they had albums that, didn't get a wide release or something like that. The way it is with bands rooted in the black metal tradition, where there's probably a couple whole albums that no one outside of a very select crowd has access to because they bought them on fucking cassette at a live show 15 years ago. But yeah, I wasn't aware that they had been around quite so long. I, for whatever reason, was kind of under the impression that they were a relatively new band. But they've been around a little while. They've been around traveling the old dusties across this here nation and beyond. But yeah, this is their newest album that came out this year. It's called Key to a Vanishing Future.
Yes.
And I think the most important thing about this album, and it's in my experience with their discography, it's kind of their thing where like there's not really anything on here that hasn't been heard before from them. But it's just put together in a new arrangement. It's been packaged in a way that still feels fresh.
Right.
But there's nothing wildly divergent. There's nothing in here where you go like, Falls of Rauros, that sounds like this? What? No, it's like, yeah, no, this makes sense for them.
Sure.
Like I want to like, because again, I'm in a weird, like kind of grumpy mood.
Okay.
Like I want to be clear that I really like this album. But it also like some of the novelty that was felt with Patterns of Mythology.
Sure.
Where it was like, this is a brand new thing that I haven't ever heard before. This is amazing. Some of that's gone. Where it's just like, oh, this is just kind of more of the same thing. That's good. There's not. That's good. This is good stuff. But it didn't continue to blow my mind the way that Patterns in Mythology did when I heard it first.
Once you've broken ground, the ground is broken. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think also this album doesn't quite achieve the same, like Patterns in Mythology has some highs in there. The first two songs in Patterns in Mythology have some massively just sweeping moments that are just so incredibly, soaring pieces of instrumentation. And this is kind of a little moodier, a little darker. There are still, very emotional guitars in there. There's still, bits of soaring instrumentation, but it's not quite as bright or as warm as Patterns in Mythology was. I mean, Patterns in Mythology did also come out in 2019, and this album came out this year.
Right.
Some things have happened since Patterns in Mythology came out. So, maybe there's a reason or two why this album is maybe not as positive in vibe as Patterns in Mythology was. Not that there's anything wrong with something not being quite so bright and so positive.
Right. I mean, yeah, there's a lot of stuff that you and I both really, really like that is not at all bright or positive.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, I adore that recent Fit for an Autopsy album. There's not a bright spot on that album.
There's a lot of energy on that album.
There's a lot of energy, but none of it is, don't worry, guys, it's all going to be okay.
Because it's not.
There's nary a singular moment on that album that reassures you of anything positive. But I like this. I mean, it is with respect to metal in general, still an album that feels more uplifting than a lot of other metal albums tend to be. And this is sort of what I was looking for this week,
Right.
trying to find something that, because like that Era album that I brought as well, it's like the energy on that I described feeling so joyful and fun in so many places. I want to keep that vibe going for a little bit.
Okay.
At the very least, because I don't know, it's springtime and like spring. And actually for the opposite reason of like most people are like, I want to go with the spring vibes. It's, it's wonderful. It's good. I love spring. Let's keep this energy going in the music as well. It's like, no, I fucking hate spring. So I want something to take my mind off of how much I hate spring.
Right.
Spring is my least favorite season. Because spring in North Dakota,
it's dirty and it's not warm enough
and gross. Or if it is warm enough, there's no respite from that warmth while you're outside, because the trees don't come back to life until the last week of May.
Right.
The leaves aren't back until May 25th.
Exactly.
At the soonest.
The leaves don't come back to the tree in North Dakota until May 25th.
What you're doing a thing, and I don't get it.
They don't come back to the tree that we have here.
The one tree.
Yeah.
Our one singular tree.
And if you've ever driven through North Dakota, you wouldn't maybe know I'm lying. I mean, depends on where you were.
No, there are in almost every place in North Dakota, there's at least 20 trees in sight. And they're all in a row.
Yeah, they're called
because
the
there's
windbreak.
a house behind them.
Yes.
That needed some cover from the wind. So there are trees, but they were put there very deliberately.
Yes, exactly. Because there's nothing else to block the wind. No hills, no other trees.
Yes.
We got a great sky, but
the hill thing also depends on what part of the state you're in.
Sure.
Central North Dakota generally is more hilly than people give it credit for. It just doesn't look as hilly as it is because there are no trees on it. Because of the lack of tree cover, it looks more flat than it truly is. As someone who's gone pheasant hunting in Central North Dakota a couple times, there are some hills there that can be, pretty tiring to walk up and down while you're looking for some non-native birds to shoot.
Exactly. I mean, sometimes here in North Dakota, that elevation does go up or down by like 2-3 feet.
At least 3 feet, if not 4, if it's a really crazy sort of hill.
Maybe somebody lumped some dirt there.
Yeah. Back in, when the glaciers were grinding their way across the plains, there was a bit of dirt embedded in a chunk of ice that fell off.
Right.
As the glaciers were retreating north, a bit of ice fell off, and that ice had a big lump of dirt in it. And when that melted, it deposited that dirt there, and now there's a hill.
It created the hill.
The hill.
Yeah.
The One Tree Hill. What's that show about?
I don't know. I've never seen it.
Was that a CW thing?
Maybe.
Was that a CW joint?
It's one of those dramatic things with young people.
Yeah, one of those.
Yeah.
Falls of Rauros. A natural feature from The Lord of the Rings, by the way.
Yes.
If you're wondering, what's that mean? It's the big waterfalls by the statues at the end of Fellowship of the Ring. Those are the Falls of Rauros.
When they end up going over the falls, and they go, next thing you know, there's dinosaurs at the bottom.
Yeah.
And hairy people and lizard aliens. In the land of the lost.
Okay, it's not a property I'm all that familiar with. Is Land of the Lost.
Right. I watched that when I was a kid.
I'm not familiar with the original one. Also not familiar with the Will
movies?
Ferrell film.
Don't bother.
I wouldn't want to be familiar with it, but I'm just saying I'm not familiar with it.
The original series was fantastic. I mean, it was cheesy. The special effects were awful. The acting was terrible, and all those things came together to make just this beautiful shit salad that was fun to watch through the entire thing.
Most old Doctor Who, basically.
Yeah, kind of. In fact, I don't want to poo-poo on Sid and Marty Krofft, but they made some fever dream shit.
Again, old Doctor Who.
Yeah.
I think I've seen all of one episode of pre-2000s Doctor Who, by the way. I used to really like Doctor Who. I used to watch a lot of it. And
the new Doctor Who.
Yeah. I think when I went to college, I stopped giving a shit.
But was it did they start off with the 9th Doctor? Was it?
Oh God, I don't even remember. I think it was. What the fuck is his name? Christopher Eccleston.
Yeah.
Or Eccleston.
Eccleston.
Yeah.
I think, yeah.
Which the Scottish one.
Right.
Wait, no, that's David Tennant is also Scottish.
Yes.
They're both Scottish.
He was the 10th Doctor.
Wait.
And also the 12th Doctor was Scottish.
Yeah. Wait, is Christopher Eccleston Scottish, or is he just from Northern England? I got to look this up now, because it was like, have there been 3 Scottish doctors?
Again, we're going to the phone to be quiet and look at an internet thing.
Well, that's why I have you.
Okay, yeah.
You can talk about things.
Yeah, I've seen. Yeah, I haven't seen any of the new Doctor Who on TV at all. I guess. What service would it be on?
He's English.
He is English. Okay.
So I think he's with that accent. He's probably from somewhere in northern England.
But yeah, Tennant is
Scottish. The character, however, was not. Did not have a Scottish accent as portrayed. Peter Capaldi's
definitely Scottish.
Doctor did have a Scottish accent.
He has that traditional Capaldi Scottish name.
Yes.
Yeah.
Classic Scottish name, Capaldi.
Exactly.
I still think it would have been hilarious, just as like a joke released online, if Capaldi had gone into his in the loop character as the Doctor.
Yeah, and using all the language.
Fucking Cyberman, suck my cock and balls.
Who the fuck are you supposed to be? R2D2?
It's just like,
yeah.
Oh, that'd be wonderful. It'd be wonderful. Anyway,
yeah.
Falls of Rauros. So, do you think this album slaps?
Yeah, it slaps.
Yeah, it certainly doesn't slap in the way that a lot of other things slap. But it's not a boring album.
No, I was not bored.
You won't be bored.
I mean, there are moments where it gets quiet.
Yes.
There are a lot of quiet moments.
Yeah, it's dynamic. But yeah, you won't be bored during this album.
No.
That is, I mean, I feel like I've redefined or attempted to clarify what we mean when we say, does this slap?
Yeah.
I feel like really the essence of what that means is, will you be bored at any point? That I think is what it means. And the answer is no, you will not be bored.
You will not be bored. But it doesn't slap like, some sort of grindcore.
It's not, as
Will
viscerally
Smith.
exciting as last week's Napalm Death album,
sure,
for example.
But it's good.
Or EP, it was last week. Which, by the way, after that last, God, I should have brought my water in here.
Are you
I inhaled a little bit of foamy spit. A little bit of foamy saliva from me having talked with a dry mouth. But in any case, today, I don't know why I was in the mood for some like metal or hardcore punk that would hurt my brain. So I was listening to some Code Orange. Yeah. And then I went to Dillinger Escape Plan. And then I went to Gorguts. And it was just like, why am I trying to hurt my brain today by listening to such incredibly weird stuff? But anyhow,
maybe you're just trying to dig it out.
And I went the transition between Code Orange and Dillinger Escape Plan also happened with a very moody, like kind of rock ballad from Greg Puciato's solo work that also featured not Reba, but Reba Myers. Okay,
Reba McEntire. Exactly.
I got it confused for a second. I was going to say not Reba McEntire, and I would have been correct.
Right.
But
Reba Myers.
Reba Myers from Code Orange.
Right.
That is her name. And she was on that.
Cool.
They've got the same initials, so it confused me.
I think what you're trying to do with the Code Orange and the I think what you were trying to dislodge something in your brain, like you were trying to remove a beached whale with half a ton of dynamite.
Yeah, exactly. I showed him a video of in the 70s, some dipshits in Oregon were too lazy to chop up a whale carcass to get it off of a beach. And so they decided the best option was to blow it up. And it went really poorly. But look, if it's not a particularly graphic video. So if you're curious about it, it's my favorite piece of television journalism I've ever seen. Is a report of this thing from the 70s. So just look up Exploding Whale 1970s and you'll find it. And I believe the TV station that I think that the channel that hosts that video is the same TV station that originally reported on it. And it was like archival footage of that they posted on YouTube. It's wonderful. I love that. The journalist, the reporter does such a amazing job with the writing of the piece. It's wonderful. A wonderful bit of vintage journalism.
I wonder if he wrote it down or if that's just like top of mind.
I don't know. Part of me hopes that that shit just rattled that shit off straight off the dome, but who knows? So straight off the dome, can you tell me what your favorite song on this album is?
No, I like the way the song or the album ends. I like the last song.
Poverty Hymn is great.
Yeah, I liked also Known World Narrows and Daggers of Floodlight.
Known World Narrows is really interesting because
it starts with that bass line
and then it turns into like a weirdly it turns into a Falls of Rauros death metal song. Yeah. In the sense, like the songwriting is to me unmistakably like a death metal song, but it's with their guitar tone.
Right. Which I really like.
It's a really weird combo, but like it almost the songwriting reminds me of death is really what it kind of sounds like. But it's like unmistakably like a death metal song, but it just has their sort of brighter kind of lo-fi guitar tone, and it's really good. My favorite song is either Poverty Hymn or Desert of Heart. I really like Desert of Heart as well. I like both of the songs for the same reasons because it's got the those bits of soaring guitar that I really like from Falls of Rauros. It's what I like to hear. Well, on this May the 4th, what medal are you bestowing upon Key to a Vanishing Future like Maz Kanata to Chewbacca at the end of the 2019 Disney released Star Wars film directed by J.J. Abrams, Star Wars The Rise of Skywalker?
I've never heard you go through that much of it.
Quite that far into it. Produced by Kathleen Kennedy. That's all I got.
I think it's a good silver. It's a solid silver.
Yeah. I think I'm gonna. This is a high silver for now.
Is it a high ho silver?
Sure.
Okay. All right.
Sure. I'm gonna call it a high silver for now.
Yeah.
I think I think at some point when I'm not in such a funk,
maybe you'll give it another spin
and really sit and pay attention to it. Because I've listened to this a couple times at work and I've got other stuff that I'm doing and I haven't been giving it its due, but I can't confidently give it a gold at the moment. So I'll listen to it some more.
Yeah, I hear you.
And see if it continues to grab me. But what do you want to bring next week?
Well, we've been trying to go through new albums, and I've been avoiding bringing this band for years now. Literally years. Literally have been avoiding it and I think even our listeners who obviously will take anything with a grain of salt.
Sure.
Because they listen to us.
Don't listen to anything we say.
No, don't. We love you guys.
Except be a nice person.
Be a good person.
Love each other. Listen to that.
Yeah.
How about that?
The CIA killed JFK. But
what are you bringing?
Impera. I'd like to listen to Impera by...
Oh, that's the album name.
Yeah.
By...
Ghost.
Sure.
All right.
I don't think that I'm going to dislike Ghost.
Right.
I don't think that there's anything about Ghost that I will dislike. It's just a simple fact of like,
it's not going to be your thing.
I just can't be bothered to seek them out.
Right.
But I think now that it's being put in front of me, I will probably like Ghost. It seems like their vibe is one that I will enjoy.
I went back recently, and I think I was telling you about this. I went back and I listened to ABBA Gold. At some point, it's like their best of from the early 90s.
Yeah.
And I went, oh shit, this is just Ghost with less heavier guitars and
well, I mean, it's
and
ABBA,
ladies singing. Yeah.
It's even if Ghost is not very heavy, they're certainly heavier than ABBA. Yeah. I think that's a pretty safe thing to say. I don't think anyone's going to disparage you for suggesting that Ghost is heavier than ABBA.
I don't think Michael might have something to say about that.
Well, yes, because that's always Michael Ackerfeld's argument. Not that he just likes ABBA for what they are, but no, that ABBA is actually the heaviest thing ever.
You don't know how to listen to ABBA.
You don't listen to it right. You have to listen to it with darkness in your heart. That is the true ABBA experience, the cold Swedish winters that we know.
Death was the reason for the Dancing Queen.
I mean, that absolutely could be an Opeth lyric.
Sure.
Death was the reason for the Dancing Queen. Yeah. I'm not certain that isn't an Opeth lyric. that might be. And if it isn't, it should be.
It would be funny to go back to their entire catalog over the last 30 years and notice it. Holy shit, he's inserted ABBA into everything.
This is all just ABBA references. Oh my God.
This song is just called Fernando.
It's literally just a cover. Oh God. Oh God.
All right. Yeah.
That's a good place to wrap up.
Sure.
So thanks for listening to this episode of the Bronze Metalist Podcast. Find us on social media. We're on Facebook and we're on Twitter, and we'll post episode links there at some point, during your night after I record and edit this. I mean, we're recording it right now after I edit and upload this.
That was kind of meta.
Yep. And then, whatever you're using to listen to us, you could listen to us on a different thing. Perhaps it's Libsyn's the podcast source.
Sure. Or YouTube.
Perhaps, if that's your thing.
Right.
Or indeed the Apple Podcast app on your iOS device.
Which every time you upload it, my podcast device chimes. It says, hey, you should listen to this. I'm like, I
already know what it's about. So yeah, go ahead and do those things. But till you hear from us again, thank you very much for listening to the Bronze Medalist Podcast. I'm Caleb.
I'm OJ.
Congratulations,
Clonk.